Heads, and welcome to the Arrow Recap Show here on Collider Video. My name is Ann Campea, and I'm so happy you're able to join us for the Season 4 finale, Schism. Now, we're here to talk about Schism as well as our thoughts on tonight's episode, but before we get started, allow me to introduce you to our recap regulars, starting with, actually, Josh Macuga to my left.
Oh, man, totally different. And I had the hood. I brought the hood because I've been faking you guys with the hood for the last 3 weeks, so I brought it for the finale. Bittersweet ending. Bittersweet. But I'm looking forward to talking with you guys for sure.
And squished in between Michael Medina.
You said I need a little more elbow room. I'm sad though. I mean, I'm happy to be here talking about Arrow, but I'm sad because I'm gonna miss doing the show week in, week out with you guys.
And
I didn't mean to get that
on the
emotional.
very far left, Jason Inman.
If I could, I would do a victory lap because I predicted the entire finale 4 weeks ago, and you all called me crazy. So you're welcome.
Coming from the guy who works for DC All Access.
I know. I'm pretty sure you saw the script before the fellow right next to me.
Low blows
I'm
come
joking,
out.
I'm joking.
Low blows.
Now,
No
you
more
know,
people.
we're all squished on the left over here. That's because we're joined by a very special guest tonight. We have Mr. Echo Kellum joining us, Mr. Terrific himself.
Yes,
you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us in tonight's show, the finale. We've been together for 23 episodes, you guys. We finally made it to Schism.
Schism is a weird name.
Schism.
I'm going to throw that out there.
Well, you know, it's like when I saw the episode title of it, I was like, what does that mean? Like, I know Schism was like an X-Men event, but they can't be doing that. And then, like, you know, you watch the episode, and then Felicity brought it up in her dialogue, and you're like, oh, okay. Like I wonder, like, when you get your scripts, do you ever get some of the episode titles, and you're like, why did they call it that?
Well, I don't get scripts. Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, oh, it's interesting, but they always seem to have a pretty good reason why I feel like they have it titled certain things, like Schism, like how she said, is like battling between those two different points of himself and like facing that schism. But I did like the schism, the word does sound weirdly sexual to me. I don't know why. Like, oh yeah,
Because we're like a
schism,
couple
like,
letters away from it being very inappropriate.
On multiple ends too.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
Well, you know, Echo, you mentioned you haven't actually seen tonight's episode, so I'm sorry, but we are going to spoil the crap out of tonight's episode, if that's
I
okay
read
with
the
you.
script
He's
of
read-
it.
he's all
I
good.
read the
Okay,
script
cool.
of it.
Do you get, because I know a lot of shows, namely like Game of Thrones, whatever, they don't give the characters full scripts just to your scenes. You're given full scripts for the episodes?
Yeah, if you're in the episode, yes.
Okay.
Like, so all the episodes I wasn't in, I did not get scripts for them. So like I'd be like off 3 episodes, and I could be like, so what happened? Is everything okay? Like, what's going on? You know, but yeah, when you're in it, they give you the full script.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, tell me you at least flip through it to see if your character's alive at the end of the script.
I mean, I think you check that every time.
Yeah.
On the show, you're just like, okay, that line is not a deaf line. Great.
Like, woo,
Okay,
I make it season 5. All right.
yeah.
Well, I have to say you were a big part of tonight's episode. We were really happy to see you in tonight's episode. And just overall for me, I thought it was a good finale. I think we finally see the end to Damien Darhk. Finally.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how they were going to defeat them. Apparently, Jason knew that from episode 1. So congratulations.
Wow.
You predicted the crap out of this episode as well.
Little do we know that between now and when we shoot the next episode, Jason actually writes the whole season of Arrow. Jason Inman Berlanti, apparently. And,
He's an uncle like 7 times removed.
But you guys, overall impressions? Did you enjoy tonight's episode?
I did. I thought they finished strong. I mean, I know you and I probably felt the same way about the fact that this episode kind of coming together, and then like I know we were talking about a little before like the show started and stuff, just about how like this show's kind of getting a little tighter, and just like how we're excited about like just where they're going, things like that. So yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking that we talked about this too, how the team is kind of splitting up. Kind of going their own separate route, kind of going like team,
It's
OG
called Schism.
Arrow.
It's called Schism.
That's what Schism from.
The team Schism.
So I'm excited. I like this episode, and I like where they can go from here.
Yeah. Jason?
I have to be honest. At the beginning of this episode, I was a little worried because I was like, how is Arrow going to fight all these nuclear bombs? Like 15,000 at one point. They said is the number. But I think at the end, it gelled. It came together really quickly, and we ended the season with a montage, with something that Arrow does very well. When you end Arrow with a montage, I'm in.
Yeah.
And I also got to say, I was very scared for your character in the beginning when Damien Darhk came in and tossed you aside, I kind of, for a second there, even though you had already been announced for season 5, there was a part of me that I was like, maybe they were punking us. Maybe they were punking us, and maybe he's dead.
Yeah, the ultimate. And I'm like, oh, that was a trick. Okay, cool. I'm glad to have known that.
And you're, in the scene where they put you on that table and then the Arrow Cave, which is basically like an amusement park at this point, because everybally can get along as long as you have a ticket. They're shooting all around you, and I'm like, they're gonna kill Mr. Terrific.
As he's sleep. By the way, that was one of the moments where I did actually fall asleep on set.
Oh, nice.
And actually legit start snoring, and people were like, David's like, what the? Hey, and I'm like, what? It was kind of comfortable.
We're trying to do some ninja moves out here.
Oh my god!
Is that like the easiest day on set when you just get to lay there and pretend to be a dead body?
It really is
Yeah.
super easy day. You're just like, okay, so I got 2 days of laying down. I'll just kind of hang out. I'm like going back to my trailer because usually for me I'm always in a trailer studying the next scene. It's like that. So those days I was just like, I'll work on some music. So then going there, oh, okay.
They catch you. You got an earbud in one ear, and you're watching TV. They're like, go ahead.
So all the while Curtis is, knocked out, laid out in the cave, there's this furious battle that ensues. And at any moment, did you feel like, oh shoot, I should get up and actually try to help?
Yeah, I mean, I think if his ribs weren't so broken and hurt. But yeah, I'm sure the character, because he says the line of I couldn't move, but I could kind of sense what was going on around me. So I'm sure that's a very precarious place to be in, of oh crap, what's going on? And him definitely wanting to help out the team in any way he can, So, I mean, I know I would have wanted to get up and do something if a whole bunch of dudes come down with guns, at us,
And in this episode too, and a lot of your moments in this season were catalysts for awesome, whether it conclusions or results or activities, and especially in this one, you basically got Oliver Queen elected mayor with your sage counsel,
I know,
if you will.
That I felt very honored to even be able to give him that speech. To have Curtis and Oliver have that moment where Curtis could, levy some of his wisdom and how he felt about Star City and the times where he wanted to turn away, after 3 terrorist attacks and all stuff like that. And then to just really help Oliver, crystallize that message and give the city hope was a very cool moment for me when I read that character would get to do that. So I was like, oh man, that's awesome. Yeah.
Did you know a lot about this character going into it? And then when you did, start, and you joined the cast, which I love that you joined the cast. I love your character. How much of that was just you, or how much did you go into this character thinking, all right, I kind of want to add this to the character?
Yeah, I knew of Mr. Terrific. I try to keep abreast on all the black superheroes if I can. Celebrate my brothers. The character originally was just some random character's name, and I just went in there and he was talking about space and all these different things and had these calculations and whatnot, and then they had me do it 2 different ways, kind of the just nerdy kind of whatever, and then they were put some confidence and emphasis into him, and let me know that, by the way, this is going to be Mr. Terrific and whatnot. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see his journey to get to Mr. Terrific and see if he is just is the same kind of character, or does he go through something that kind of takes him to a darker place, maybe a happier place. It's just gonna be a fun journey, and I feel I'm reading all his comic books is I definitely try to take influence from the original character and try to bring different things to that. But I think that's what's really going to be fun when he finally becomes him. To really.
I'm waiting on those T-spheres.
Yeah,
I'm waiting on.
As soon as you learned he was a triathlete, were you like, I got to get to the gym?
Yeah. I did. I was like, oh man, because fans are gonna be like, man, I don't know, man.
That guy's too skinny for gold medal.
But I'm like, come on, y'all.
Season 5, they're gonna have you get out of the pool, and you're like, God, give me abs.
Well, I'm sure Amel felt the same way when the first line of his script said salmon ladder topless, So he was probably like, oh crap, I gotta go work out. But I mean, it's really nice to have Curtis now fully I feel like he's kind of made his way into the team, whereas he's kind of was out on the outside looking in at the beginning of the season. Your character has really been the light and the hope that this season was lacking from the other characters. Typically Diggle, Felicity, those are the ones that are typically hopeful, but even they lost hope this season, which was kind of disheartening for the fans because they are usually the ones to deliver that speech to Oliver. So it was nice to have Curtis be that fresh face, that new person to give them all hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really just goes into that whole thing of character development. You know, I think if Diggle's always the one to do it, then you, as an audience, you're just like, okay, here's Diggle's speech again. You know, like you want to see him go through this like thing with his brother and like feel his pain and loss and like, you know, really try to connect to Lila and his daughter. And, you know, I love seeing, because Diggle's like always been one of my favorite characters on the show. And I just think David Ramsey has so much depth in acting and can like do anything, you know. But as remiss I am, it is nice to just see that character going through, you know, these different arcs and ups and downs and whatnot.
Definitely. Damien Darhk, let's talk about him because we've been battling him all season and his magic. He delivers one of the more morbid and dark lines that I've ever heard on Arrow tonight. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but he's talking to Nora and he says, she asks about her mother. And he says, we're going to see her soon. You know, just to say we're going to see her in our death. And that to me was like, oh my gosh, like he is ready to die with his daughter. That's going to happen in this schism, you know, like in all of the nuclear threats that are going to happen.
He sets up this whole thing, this whole world that he wants to be a part of, and it's gone. And now he's like, well, if I can't have it, nobody can, which is like, I mean, come on, man. I mean, maybe like give this whole thing a chance or try to escape or something. But I'm with you on that. That whole idea of I'm going to kill my daughter along with everybody else. And I'm so glad that dude got it in the chest, man. I'm so glad. I'm so over Damien Darhk being around. We never thought we could never beat him, right?
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And then finally, Jason Inman's prediction came true, and he got an arrow to the chest. But I loved that it took not only the whole team to get behind him, thanks to Mr. Terrific over here, but also an entire city.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about him actually like killing him? Like, I mean, that was...
You know, we've been actually talking about this entire season where we've been really wanting Oliver to lean a little bit darker because we kind of talk about how we liked in season 1 how he just like, you failed the city and I'm going to punch in the face and like that kind of stuff. And I like that he come to realize that like sometimes some guys just got to be stabbed in the chest. And Damien Darhk definitely over the season really proved it. You were talking about the line that Damien Darhk had. I thought my favorite Damien Darhk line this episode was at the very beginning where Oliver crashed through the window and he goes, I know you don't live here, but those are nice windows. And I want to ask you, because Neil McDonough, I think he's a great actor, and I thought he killed this part, but some of his lines, I was like, is he ad-libbing that on set? Because it just seems way out there.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised. That scene, I was like, really focused on being unconscious in the corner. So
Sleeping.
Everything. I was going to sleep. That's the only time I get to catch up to sleep out there.
They get ringtone and they get the snoring.
Like, can you write me in the knocked out scene, please? I'm really tired. But it's really great that everyone kind of embodies those characters and sometimes just can play a little like that. I mean, definitely we're true to what the writers write. They're brilliant and they, you know, just know exactly what they're doing. But they do like leave a little room sometimes for like a little ad libs and stuff like that.
Have you had something get on the air?
Yeah, like there was something last week that I was like, oh, they put that in there. Oh, it's when Curtis sees Felicity's father, and then he tells her like, oh, I'm Noah Cutler or whatever. And he's like, wait, you were with Donna? Oh, and then that was supposed to be it. But then I was like, I knew that had to be like something like, how's Felicity? And it was like they cut that part, and I was like, oh, cool, you know. But it's just fun. But you really want to be true to what the writers are saying too. But they do. The actors sometimes, you know, we're just sitting like discussing like, oh man, wait, maybe this feels better if this was this way or something like that, and they like are very like open to listen to us and you know make those changes where we feel comfortable and whatnot.
Yeah, and for us watching it, you know, I truly believe that the ad-libbing comes with the growth of your relationships outside of being on camera, on screen. Like I've seen, you know, at least as a fan, I've seen Amel grow very close with, you know, I forget, Emily, and I forget Diggle's real name, David Ramsey, but they all seem to have that camaraderie that wouldn't translate on camera if you weren't friends outside of.
Yeah, I think it's hard to fake chemistry, you know, and that was like one of the most pleasant things for me coming on as this new character, was just how tight knit and cool and funny the whole cast was. Like from the jump, like no one ever felt like divas or like they were better than. Everyone's just very down to earth and like arms wide open and ready to crack jokes before you even think about it. And you know, it was.
So they played
and they're all professionals.
They played you Creed when you walked in.
Yeah, I'm wide open. Yeah, you know, I love when you play Creed.
Yeah, of course.
Some of you guys would, you know, put
Follow
take
us.
me high. Some of y'all just
Follow us some
it'd be nice if it
Nickelback.
could. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, give me some of that Nickelback, please. Yeah. What? I don't know. I can't think of this. Oh God, I can't think. Never mind. I can't think of the band. I want this thought. I can't think of it. I can't think of it. I'm done. Nope. Over.
Just shout it when you think about it. Flashbacks, you guys, because we obviously those are still very heavily a part of the show. What did you think of tonight's flashbacks with Tayana?
I want to hear from Michael on this one.
Yeah.
As the biggest critic of the flashbacks this season.
Yeah.
Captain
You know
Flashback
what?
over here. If we have Mr. Terrific, we got Captain
Hell,
Flashback.
Yeah. No, you know, it wrapped up okay. I'm just not a big fan of the flashbacks this season. I loved seeing Cynthia Dye Robinson back. I love her as Amanda
Yeah.
Waller. That was really cool. I know we actually had her on the show, a couple months back, something like
we
that.
had her. I think we had her the week after
Yes.
they
got
killed her
Shot in the
character.
head,
Oh,
yeah.
So we were talking to her, and we were saying if there was a possibility that we may see her in flashbacks, and I'd be fine with that because she's such a great character, such a great actress. So I like that we got that little taste. Again, it just kind of was what it was. You know, I just wasn't happy. But I am excited to see him maybe go to Russia or maybe see his homie from Russia come. I always forget his name. But I love his
The
character.
guy who drove the sub. I don't remember. Yeah.
Yes. So he was so
That guy
funny.
was
He was so
awesome.
great. So I want to see more of him. So I don't want him to leave the island, but I want to see how that plays into effect, how that relationship really grows.
Yeah.
I will say the shocker was when he cracked her neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean that's some dark stuff because no pun intended, but you know I thought
No H.
he might like take an arrow, you know, fittingly and like jam it in her chest.
Did he have a gun? I thought he was gonna like shoot her in the head or something
maybe
like
shoot
that.
her in the head or
Yeah.
in the chest or something. But the fact that he cracked her neck was a super dark scene, and then all those people come. But I'm with you. I think that season 5 we're finally going to get what we've been waiting for since season 1: how he gets
The beard.
inducted, beard, and inducted into the Russian mob.
Yes.
How
Yes.
he becomes a part of the Russian mob, because I love mob stories. The fact that they're going to introduce this into Arrow is awesome. I'm totally into it.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
We also see the reveal of him getting his chest back with all
Yeah.
his crap in it,
wooden
and
crate.
the list of names. So that obviously from season 1, we've been wondering what was in there, and then now he has it in the flashbacks. So I like how the flashbacks continue to give us those little snippets going back to episodes from season 1, season 2, season 3. So I liked it. I liked that they finally tied up the story with Tayana and the totem now with Amanda Waller, and Amanda Waller kind of giving us a clue as to what Oliver's doing in present day when she says killing is sometimes the only path to darkness. So we see that in both the past and the present. So yeah, I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I thought it wrapped up. I thought it wrapped up just fine. I will say that I think the flashbacks were the best last week. In last week's episode, and then also when Matt Ryan showed up as Constantine, like that flashback was like the best of the season. The flashbacks kind of came back. Like we were not a big fan of last season's flashbacks, but this kind of came back. I think if season 5 continues the trend, and like I said, now that we know where these flashbacks are going, like he's got to get this giant beard and he's got to launch an arrow into that fire hole, and you know. So like now that we have like a direction that we have to go, now the mystery is going to be, okay, when he goes to Russia, how quickly does he come back to the island? Like,
Right.
was he on the island only a day before the pilot episode? Like a week? Does he grow that giant beard in Siberia?
Oh
You
yeah.
can tell. I'm concerned about this beard. Like it was down to his waist in that pilot.
No.
no, it's here. No.
It's like ZZ Top.
Yeah, he's easy top beard.
No, we've been talking about on this show that instead of flashbacks, we'd love to see some more like origin stories. You know, so maybe some stories behind Diggle or behind Captain Lance or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Would you like to see something like that going forward?
I remember they had like a little origin story of Felicity when she's like goth and
The
have
goth
a boyfriend
Felicity.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I mean, I would totally be down for some stuff.
Like, would you
that
want to
too.
see like how your character won the triathlon or lost it or?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
bronze in the third
Yeah.
place, but that's still a win.
It's
You get a
You got a
medal. You get a
Yeah,
medal.
yeah, you get to get on the platform. It's all
Fourth
good.
place is like, oh man. Come on.
See, because I think
Yeah.
it would be an interesting thing that for your character they could do if they decided to do that. They could start throwing in a lot of the Golden Age and Justice Society references.
Yeah.
Like they could be your pals. Like you could come across Rex Tyler,
Yeah,
who was just
yeah.
introduced in Legends. You know, like it's like, oh wow, what interesting paths. That's the interesting thing about introducing like your character into this Arrow world is that your character has just as much legacy, if not more, than Arrow. So
Yeah.
like there's so much stuff that you can pull from.
Yeah, and I think that was going to be a lot of room to like play with those crossover episodes and stuff like that too, and just the worlds in general. Like Wentworth Miller just signed just an overall
Yeah. He's gonna be in every
world
show.
deal, which is like that's pretty badass. Like I love kind of that synergy, you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's, I mean, I love that with comic books in general. So like I'm super excited for like Supergirl to be there now and just see if there really can be like some ties into JSA or what can come from that. So it's just very it's like a wonderful time just to be alive for nerds, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just really embracing that and just basking in it, you know.
Well, it's amazing. I watched every single season of Smallville, good and bad, and it's just kind of cool to see, like, with the start of Arrow and just how this DC universe on the CW has grown since then. Because now you talk about how we can have these cross. We have like 4 different shows and with Supergirl coming. This is exciting.
Yeah.
It's like almost every single day there's something on TV
Yeah,
now, which is
that's
great.
pretty dope.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about the giant brouhaha in the street between Damien Darhk and Oliver, and then the good people and the bad people and the giant fight, and then hear Echo's thoughts on whether are you mad when you don't get to be in fights like that, like? Or are you like you're like I really want to be in that fight?
I'm a triathlete.
I do want to be in that fight, but I'm also like, those are like the 6 a.m. shoots. So you're like, oh, God. By like 3 a.m., I'm like, why did I want to be in this fight? Why do I want to go in the field? So,
where's my sleeping in the corner day?
yeah, it's all, you didn't get torn. You get torn.
Nice.
But for the character, I'm like, yeah, get in there. But I'm like, I pay as an actor.
I will say in those giant battle scenes like on the street. Well, first of all, I will say the only thing that like kind of upset me about that fight scene was when Oliver gets on the car and just goes like, "Hey, hey!" You're like, dude, get a megaphone or something. Everybody is literally rioting in the street.
And then everybody stops, like, hey, what's going on over there? What's that guy
Is that
saying?
Oliver Queen?
No one said hey yet.
He's screaming about something.
A lot of them were like, maybe we can loot that jacket.
You probably got arrows in there. But I will say in that final fight scene, and I always bring it back to Braveheart, is like there's a maelstrom going all the way around, and then the horse guy comes like, "You bastard!" And then he goes and and he and Dark have that moment where he like pushes one guy aside, and then everything splits. I do always dig that scene in a movie. No movie, TV show, I love that stuff.
The one part, because I hadn't seen the show yet, this is tonight's episode, but the part I did see they had like an exclusive on ET or something like that, was when he fires the arrow and then it like explodes in slow motion in Damien Dark's face. I was like, that looks so freaking dope.
That was really
It's,
well
like,
done.
So cool. Like,
Well, I
dang.
love the moment, actually. There's a moment in the fight where Damien Darhk picks up Oliver's bow and shoots an arrow into Oliver. Like, just bam, like right into him. And first off, I was like, come on, you got to have thicker Kevlar than that, man. Come on, like, but then I was like, oh, that's a nice like twist reversal, because the entire season Oliver's been shooting arrows at him and he's just been like, oh, stop. But I predicted this a couple episodes ago about that Oliver was going to use the hope of the people to make Damien Darhk mortal, and that's how he's going to take him down. You guys heard that theory a couple weeks ago. You called me crazy. Now that you saw it executed,
Whoa.
you
I
did.
never called
You
you
did.
crazy.
You called me crazy.
I didn't. I didn't call you crazy. Go back and look at that episode. If I said crazy, I'll owe you $10.
But what did you guys think about that's the way we defeated Damien Darhk?
Well,
the hope of Star City.
You kind of spoiled it for us. No, I'm just joking. But no, I when you said it, I was like, yeah, that's the only way. I mean, after he had that training, and she basically told him the only way to defeat it is if you have light in you. I mean, and then you gave your theory. I was like, okay, well, I can't see any other way for them to have this battle but that way.
I just can't not think of Peter Pan. Like, everyone just giving like good
Think
positive
good
thoughts
thoughts.
and think good thoughts.
Or Elf. when they get the Santa sleigh back up because they're singing in the park, and they got to give them that special Christmas feeling.
Or Ghostbusters when everybody has to think.
Thank you.
A lot of movies do this.
Think of good thoughts.
Be positive, everyone.
Think of marshmallows.
Yeah.
But I think even in the comics, it's really hard to play with this whole battling with magic.
Well, it's the same like. And we'll hear from the man himself. We brought up the postulation that last week when you guys were like diffusing the missile, that it must be really tough, and it's the same for magic. Like it's tough when you're just like, doing that,
like
and it must be
Harry
tough like when you're just hacking at a keyboard. What are your tips? Like how do you?
Well, no, I
work
was
in a
really
scene like that?
brute force hacking that thing.
Oh,
I
you
was
just
really
pounding.
getting there. No, I used to work for Geek Squad.
Channel that Geek Squad, dude.
4 years, baby. Chicago. But so like I am so used to just being on a computer and just like going from computer to computer. But
So did you try turning it off and then turning it back on?
yeah, that's surprisingly how it works.
So if we watched last week's episode, we're gonna see a lot of Control-Alt-Delete.
Yeah, a lot of control off delete. But you do think like, okay, I want this to be as accurate as possible. I just want to be. Yeah, we'll get. Yeah, okay, yeah, we find it. So I'm like trying to like do actually control or actual strokes and enters and spaces and all that stuff. So it's the most difficult part of the job, if I'm being honest, to just get that together sometimes. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay. I try to lean into watching Emily a lot because she's like,
Right.
Oh, she nailed
She's
that.
she's just
Master.
like, oh, I'm like, are you really doing? Okay, never.
Well, poor Cooper, who's almost forgotten in this episode. His hands are bloody from
Bloody hands.
Yeah.
typing all night and all day.
hands,
Yeah,
yeah.
so hopefully that doesn't happen to you, though.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope Oliver isn't working us that hard.
Hopefully we get T-spheres before then.
Yeah, hopefully.
too.
Oh, man.
They do all the typing.
Yeah.
Well, we're
I
kind
was so thankful that they were like fairly prominent throughout the season. Like they used
Yeah.
them at least 2 or 3 times. So it was like, yes,
Yeah. Well, we thought back in, what was that, maybe like episode 13 or 14 when they could have come to thing that they were going to use the T-spheres.
Yeah,
and they
we
never
also
did.
thought that like the T-spheres were going to be the thing that was going to detect Ray. Because we had a theory on the show that Ray was like lost inside the office that you guys were working in, and that the T-spheres were going to find him.
Oh wow.
So like we
Wow.
had a lot of crazy T. Here you go, Air Riders. The other thing, let's like wrap it up with the flashbacks of where everybody ended up.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I love myself a good Arrow flashback. I remember that positive Arrow flashbacks from season 1. I loved every one of them. Diggle goes back to the army.
Yeah.
He has an extremely high rank in the enlisted side. I'll just tell you that. But I think that's a good move for him. I think it's an interesting move. What do you guys think? Like, do you buy where everybody ended up?
I do. I know we've been talking about this for a while. It makes sense because I kind of would like to, and I know we probably all agree with this, would like to see Oliver on his own for a little bit. And he's not technically alone, he has Felicity, but really like out in the field doing his own thing. I'd like to see that. I mean, it makes sense for Diggle to kind of go back to the military. It makes sense for Thea to kind of not know where she should be right now, because she's kind of been like in the state all season long where she's playing with the, whatchamacallit, what was she dealing with? The
Bloodlust.
Yeah.
Bloodlust.
So she was dealing with that. So she's got all kinds of kind of messed up right now. So to see that makes sense for me. I like where they're at.
I'm not. I'll go on. Okay, I thought maybe how this should have wrapped. I didn't like that Diggle goes back in the military. I thought that he and the missus and the
What do you
and
got against the
cute
military,
daughter.
Josh?
No, I
What do you
love the
got against the
military.
military?
You know
What are you
that.
saying?
I want him to go. I wanted them to be like on some sort of like cruise or like a vacation finally as a family, or like disappearing to somewhere else as a family, getting away from this whole thing so that they could actually live as a family together. Now I know that Diggle is having this whole mental breakdown because he killed his brother and maybe he needs some time for him, and that time is the service. Great. Then that makes sense. But there's something about me that wants Diggle to be a family man for a little bit because the wife and kid have really not had their dad around. I thought Thea should have been, her thing was she's at Roy's doorstep. I think she finds Roy.
I would have been down with that.
You know?
Yeah.
Other than that, I love the fact that it's Felicity and Oliver back together. I like
Maybe. We don't know. We don't know.
Captain Lance and Mama Smoke together in a car
Yep.
arguing
Dance.
about directions. I love it.
Dance.
I honestly would have loved to see you walk into the Arrow Cave as they're at the end there, and you're like, because you're the only one that hasn't been destroyed by Team Arrow yet. Like everybody else has been like lost a friend, lost a
Just
brother.
wait till next season.
Yeah,
Give it time, right?
yeah. So I mean, I'm obviously up and down, but I think they could have done it a little bit better. That's all.
I think I'm surprised by Felicity. I thought she would actually also be
Me too.
checked out. considering obviously in the beginning, her and Oliver were together, then their engagement is now not to be, and just Laurel's death. I thought all of that
she
would
killed
affect
thousands
her.
of people.
Yeah,
Let's not
and
forget
she killed people. She wasn't
it wasn't
walking.
Monument Point. It was the town that Felicity destroyed.
Haven
What is
Haven
it called?
Rock.
Haven
Yeah.
Rock.
Haven Rock?
Haven Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, a lot of stuff happened to Felicity, so I really truly expected that she wasn't going to stick around. So when she did say she was going to stick around, I was a little bit surprised. But the person I'm the most happiest with in terms of their place and where we're going to see him next season is Oliver Queen. He's obviously set up to be the next mayor, and I think we've all been waiting for that to happen. So that's very, very exciting.
Marrow. That's Mayor Arrow.
Marrow.
That's clever.
All right. So then let's move into our Twitter questions. The first one comes from Doug, who asks, what kind of costume would Echo like to see for Curtis in the future?
I just really love the cool Fair Play jacket. You know, the one that has it horizontal on
Yeah.
the sleeve, or vertically on the sleeve, horizontal. Honestly, you can barely see it. On the inside.
You wore a tracksuit this
Yeah,
season.
I
that
did
had
wear the
Fair
hat.
Play
Fair Play on it. Yeah, I did.
We all freaked out when we saw that.
Yeah. So I mean, something like that. I love the like kind of outer white layer and like red and black. That's kind of cool. And as long as it's like I want the T.
You want
I
the T on the face?
I think that'd be pretty cool. But as an actor, I'm probably gonna be like, why'd I ask for this T? thing on my
So
face?
makeup. So much makeup.
God, I gotta come an hour earlier.
Put this on.
I keep rubbing my eyes and messing up.
God, they have to remake it all the time. Yeah.
I feel like I'd prefer the T over what David has to wear, to be honest with you.
Star Labs is working on that. It's work in progress. Work in progress.
All right, next question comes from Lemon Grab Ren, who asks, what was your favorite episode / moment of the season? For me, it was getting to see Roy come back. Love him.
I think everybody can answer this one. You want to start? Yeah, you want to start with Echo?
Yeah.
Well, do you have a favorite moment from your first season in Arrow?
Favorite moment? I mean, my favorite moment's actually my first episode of actually coming in and working with Emily, and like just when I heard the music that they usually play with like guys first appear, and it was like, that's me. That was like just such a cool, like euphoric, like is this real type of moment. So I like always like cherish that. And it was like a moment where I got to work with Fanta, Emily's best friend, and like close friend of mine now. So it was just like this really like kind of setting the path of, you know, everything that's like occurred in the past year and that will be occurring next year. So it was like kind of nostalgic, like, oh, first, you know, scene and stuff.
Nice.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. I would say for me, it was the favorite moment, but also the saddest moment is Laurel's death. I think that was really impactful for the season, having been on Arrow forever, and having to see her, witness her die. I think for me, that scene was even more impactful because I felt like the actors off screen also felt, you know, really heartbroken with that, having to act in that scene, having to say goodbye to Katie Cassidy. So for me, that was it.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the obvious one, but Oliver finally putting that arrow into Damien Darhk, man. I waited all season for that. I've been asking Oliver to start killing more people. I know that's dark, but I want to go back to Oliver season 1 where he's just like, everybody's dead. And I'm like, yes, that's what I want. But the fact that he finally got him, he was like, I didn't have a choice this time. Boom, arrow in the chest. Oliver kills again. Just an awesome moment for the show. And what we wanted as fans, we got it.
My favorite scene would be the first time I saw Constantine. You know, I know you said that's your favorite. I agree. That was my favorite flashback of the season. I was a fan of the show. I thought it really didn't get its due. I mean, it only went about 12 episodes, maybe something like that. It was a good show. And so seeing him on the show and seeing how well, like the chemistry between him and Stephen Amell, it really worked. I really believed it, and I loved it, and I hope we see more of him.
Absolutely.
Constantine is definitely one of the tops. And since you talked about Constantine, I'll talk about Vixen.
Oh, man. I thought you were gonna say
I thought
Vixen.
Vixen
She's
coming in,
amazing.
she was
She was
awesome.
great.
Like, give her her own show.
More
She's
Vixen.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The fact that they took that obscure DC character and the actress made it work. The script made it work. She was just awesome. And then
She was so important.
and she was important to the plot. Like, bring
Yeah.
her back as quick as possible. And my second favorite moment was when a couple episodes ago, when Captain Lance was stuck in the Arrow Cave because they all left him alone. He's like, I guess I'll just make the coffee. I don't know.
That's a pretty good.
Yeah, he does his lanes pretty well. Yeah, it's not bad.
Awesome. Next question comes from Doug again, who asks, This is the same question.
Oh, it is.
Well, I would answer it differently this time.
Is that it for questions? Oh, that's it. I wanted more. I'm sorry. Well, thank you to everyone who has tweeted us using the hashtag Collider Arrow. Obviously, season 4 is over, but we will continue to take your tweets using that hashtag. So, with the end of season 4, going into season 5, predictions for season 5. I don't know if we should start with
Don't start with
Jason
me.
or
No,
end
no,
with
no,
Jason.
'cause
Echo, do you want to start?
Predictions.
Yes.
Oh God.
Or what would you like to see for Curtis in season 5?
Oh man, I do want to see him suit up. That would be pretty cool for me, So I predict he will suit up, but I have no clue. So that's just a prediction.
We back you on that one. For me, I think it wouldn't have been a finale if the lair didn't get destroyed. So I honestly think season 5 should open with the return of Rosa, cleaning the lair and making sure that everything is back in its place, getting ready for the team to come back. But honestly, I think I would actually be happy to see Oliver as mayor for more than 50% of the time. Is that me just being boring? But I feel like it'd be really cool to see him battling in the political world.
You think he'll just put Green Arrow away and not do it, or?
Yeah, because he
Okay.
doesn't have a team. Well, he has Felicity next to him, but I would love to see that aspect of it.
There is a part of me, I was going to kind of piggyback off yours, that there's a part of me that wants to see Oliver Queen as mayor come out to the city as Arrow. Like Tony Stark saying, I am Iron Man. I think that that's a natural progression of the character. In the show, I don't know where you write it in season 5 and how you do it, but I think that in season 5 he should come out to the whole city. And I think it could really be a rallying cry for the whole city to believe that Arrow the whole time has been this person that's not only been fighting for the city, but fighting for like the good of everybody. And I loved how this season ended, so I think it's again the natural progression. Also, I might steal yours. I want to see a freaking working T-sphere. That's what I want.
Yes. I think Felicity is going to grow stronger. I think Oliver's going to struggle a little bit. I think he is going to remain Green Arrow. He's going to go do his thing by himself. It's going to be tough, but because they're working, it's just the two of them now. I think their relationship will grow stronger. And yes, we're going to see T-spheres in full effect come next season. It's going to happen.
And here we go.
Yes,
Okay.
everyone ready?
This is tough.
The
'cause
Oracle.
They can go in so many different directions. Like, I would love to see some connection back to Deathstroke, but I have a feeling that's not going to happen. I think he's going to go to Russia. He's going to discover the weapons clans. And if you know anything about Green Arrow comic books, there are all these weapons clans out there. There's the Arrow clan, the Sphere clan, the Katana's part of the Sword clan. I think he's going to find somebody in the Russian mob that's part of the weapons clan. He's going to attempt to fight him for control of this weapons clan, and that's the person that's going to throw him back to the island because he's not worthy. And that person that throws him back to the island is the villain of season 5 versus Mayor Oliver Queen. That's
See,
my
dude,
theory.
this is the stuff.
And I think you
There it
will
is.
suit up next season. And to help you on your way, because you came on this show, I wanted to give you, might have this already, the Mr. Terrific action figure
Yeah.
right here. This is yours. And also, it comes with T-spheres right in the back. So
You wear spandex and all.
this
That's
is for you
awesome.
for coming on Collider Arrow.
Thanks,
Echo.
man. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah. You got your
And the
makeup's
fair
ready to go.
play.
This is the suit I was talking
Yeah,
about.
Fair play right there.
It looks like drag a little bit on the back.
That's cool.
great.
Yeah.
So now you can hold that up next to your makeup person. You'd be like, this
Yeah.
is how it has to look.
Like this. Hello. No. Not that. Yeah. Cool. That's so cool.
Well, this has been awesome, you guys. Echo, thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
for having
Thanks.
me.
Fun
Thank you so
time.
much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Really
thank you.
cool.
You guys, it's the end of season 4. It's been a
it.
wild ride hosting the show with you guys. And
Can you believe we're
a
done?
wild
Can you
ride.
believe this is it? This is crazy.
last
Feels
time
like we
putting
just
up.
started.
So you guys, I know we have a long break until season 5, but we will continue to take your tweets, your comments, your whatever, love, supports, thumbs up on this video. Make sure you tweet us using the hashtag Collider Arrow, and you can also continue to tweet and comment with us individually, starting with Josh.
Yeah, you guys can find me here every Monday on Collider doing Collider TV Talk, as well as on my Twitter and Instagram at Josh Macuga, and my talk show, The Josh Macuga Show, on YouTube.
Michael?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Mr. Michael Alexis, on Instagram, Mr. Michael Alexis 14, and on Think Hero Pro with David and Dennis.
And Jason?
You can find me Instagram, YouTube, all the places at Jawin, Jawin, every weekday on DCL Access and on iTunes Geek History Lesson, where if you like my theories, I teach you all kinds of nerdy stuff. Geek History Lesson on iTunes.
That's awesome. And Echo?
You can find me on an airplane. You can. I'm at Echo K on Twitter and Echo Kells on Instagram and Echo Kellum on Snapchat. So do that.
It just made a progression from social network to social
did.
network.
Echo, by the way, has an epic Snapchat if you don't know. So
Must follow.
I gotta get back into the groove, man. You know, I gotta.
well, now you have an action figure for stop motion.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
We need a T filter on Snap.
Yeah, we do.
You guys make that happen.
Yeah, I'll pay for that. I'll pay for that deal. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much for joining us. You can follow me at Ann Campea on Twitter, Instagram, and A Campea on Snapchat. And again, continue to tweet us using the hashtag #ColliderArrow. And until next season, you guys, hood up.
My Afro.